Hi guys, this is Dr. TS, and today we're going to be finishing out the videos for our Module 7 by talking about a type of transport called bulk transport. Now, based on its name, I hope it's pretty obvious that with bulk transport, we're going to be moving many molecules, many things at once. A lot of what we've been talking about so far with diffusion, osmosis, and active transport, we are moving just molecules of water or molecules of solute kind of individually. Bulk transport is the movement of these kind of big packages of things all together. And there's going to be kind of two main types of bulk transport that we talk about. So bulk transport helps bring large amounts of things inside and outside of the cell. So this either means we're moving big molecules, we're moving a large amount of these things in and out in kind of mass rather than as individual molecules. And there's lots of reasons that cells do this, right? We might want to bring a lot of glucose in, or maybe we want to take out a bunch of waste that our cells have made. We want to take it out of the cell. So these are just the movement of large molecules and large amounts of things inside and outside of the cell. And it utilizes these little things called vesicles, which are just small membrane-bound packages. So imagine we have a cell here, okay? We're going to draw a little eukaryotic cell with our little nucleus, and we have a big package of stuff, okay? We're going to enclose it in its own little vesicle, so it's going to almost look like a little baby cell. It has a membrane around it, and this vesicle is going to have lots of stuff in it. It could be all the same, sometimes it's different stuff altogether, and we want to take that outside of the cell. So these vesicles will enclose these molecules and these large amounts of things so that they can be taken in and out of the cell more easily in kind of bulk form. And there are kind of two main types of transport we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about bringing stuff in, and we're going to talk about taking stuff out. So the first type of bulk transport is endocytosis. When you hear endo, I want you to think into. Endo or into. This is going to be a type of transport that brings things into the cell. And there are three types of endocytosis that I'm going to briefly talk about. The first type is phagocytosis. So imagine we have a bunch of molecules outside of the cell. And what's really cool is the cell can kind of adjust its membrane. It can create this little like space in the membrane and kind of close it off. So it kind of brings it into the cell by using its own membrane. It's phagocytosing. This is actually really common in how we get rid of bacterial infections. So if you ever have a bacterial infection, we have really cool special immune cells called phagocytes, which are really cool cells that specialize in this, where they can kind of grab a bunch of bacteria at once, take it inside, and eat it up. So this is phagocytosis. Another type of endocytosis is called pinocytosis. And this is similar to phagocytosis in that, we're using the membrane of the cell to kind of bring stuff in. But instead of kind of enveloping like a big amount of stuff, pinocytosis it kind of stretches out a little arm, and it kind of encompasses and brings in smaller amounts of things. The last type of endocytosis is receptor mediated. So receptor, what does that mean? Well, on the outside of our cell, we have little receptors, right? Receptors receive information. And these receptors can bind to things, right? We talked about how, proteins can bind to ligands and such. And then those receptors can actually come together and form these specific vesicles. So we call this receptor-mediated endocytosis. It's a very similar idea. We're just binding things and using the receptor to bring things in. So phagocytosis kind of engulfs things. It's almost like taking a handful of it. Pinocytosis is very similar, just with smaller amounts of things. And receptor-mediated uses receptors. But they are all working to bulk transport large amounts of things into the cell. Endocytosis into the cell. The last type of transport we're going to talk about in this module is exocytosis. Okay, when you see exo, think exit. So this is going to bring things out of the cell. So maybe we have a large amount of cellular waste that we want to get rid of. So we might enclose it in a little vesicle. That vesicle will then kind of fuse with the cell membrane allowing whatever was inside that vesicle to exit. So exocytosis means exit the cell. So these are both the two types of bulk transport that we want you to understand. So they are taking large amounts of molecules that can be different or similar from one another to bring things in and out of the cell versus the more individual molecules that we've talked about with diffusion and active transport. All right, guys, thank you. Bye-bye.